Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another week here at Apollo Racing Club. We're going to be kicking off our second race of our 11th season here. My name is Matt McAdams, and as always, I'll be bringing you the action from the commentary booth. This week, we are going to be at Paul Ricard. Very, well, either loved or hated track. I'm of the group that loves it. A lot of sweeping, wide, medium speed corners, potentially one of the longest straights in the game, and also the only track that has a reputation with a long enough break in between corners that you can get up and go get yourself a cold one. So we'll be getting a look at what that is going to look like today. Right now, we have just finished up free practice and we'll be beginning our qualifying session. The drivers have just been let out onto the track to begin warming up their tires. If anybody missed it last week, we were at Imola. It was a pretty exciting race. Definitely had a lot of action to be seen. Starting to see some trends here with some of the quicker drivers. Grabbing our podium, Javier Marquez winning last week with a best lap of a 1:41.63, being, I believe, the fastest lap of the race. Xu Chen taking second and Matt Byrne in third. We'll see if they're able to keep that going this week here at Paul Ricard. But for right now, let's go ahead and take a look over at the grid and get an eye on a couple of these drivers just about finishing warming up their tires and are going to start qualifying here in just a moment. It looks like Spencer Brown going to be the first one to start their qualifying lap. Coming around the last couple of bends here, just 2 to go. And then we will start to see our first, qualifying times. As I mentioned, Paul Ricard, pretty long track, a lot of sweeping corners. And looking at the grid, if we look at our manufacturers, we can see, well, a little less variety than we're used to seeing here. A lot of Audis, a lot of Porsches. So it'll definitely be exciting to see how each of the drivers and their respective manufacturers are performing against one another. But Spencer Brown started, this lap up, or had a hiccup and it completely threw me off my pace. Spencer Brown starting his lap 2 turns in now, keeping things nice and tidy. And one thing about Paul Ricard, it can be brutal on track limits, so the drivers will definitely be taking these first couple of laps a little bit easier than normal, just to make sure they can secure a solid qualifying lap. Looks like that's gonna be Tommy Kogan just behind in the McLaren there. It's looking like it's gonna be a clear day today. Right now, looking at about 23 degrees in the air, 30 on the track, so tire temperatures will certainly be a little bit of a concern as they'll get a little bit toasty, as will their brakes with the ambient temperature being up. No rain in the forecast, so it's looking like we might have a pretty straightforward race today. J Games in the chat, Paul Ricard, track limits are the worst. You are not wrong about that. There's in fact a couple of corners here where you can pick up 2 warnings if you're a little bit less than careful. Spencer Brown keeping that Audi looking nice and composed. Not really hopping around, looking like a stable setup. That was actually a really well negotiated corner there. And just one final hairpin to go. One of the trickiest corners on this entire track, keeps it just inside the lines. And I believe we are about to have our first qualifying lap. And we do. Spencer Brown going across the line there with, an immediate, I think he may have invalidated there actually. Excuse me. Yep, it does appear that he did invalidate, but Xu Chen and Matt Byrne both crossing the line there. Xu Chen now holding fastest lap of the race. Sets a 1:53.965 being the time to beat. We're gonna have a whole slew of times coming across the line now here. Let's throw up the helicam. We can see, we've got one Porsche off wide there. There's Matt Byrne rounding the final corner now. Tim Wilkins crosses the line with a 1:59.997, sneaking in just underneath that 2-minute mark. Let's take a look over at Daniel Wright's lap. Currently 1.1 seconds up on his previous bet. Is split qualifying still a thing in ARC, ACC, or is it free-for-all now? It is a free-for-all now. I guess it got a little bit tricky trying to do the Pro and Am licenses. through SimGrid, so we've just decided to send everybody out on the track. And doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a problem here. Paul Ricard being a longer track, and we've got, I believe, 25 drivers in attendance. There's more than enough room for everybody to qualify. Daniel Wright going to cross the line with a new personal best, 155.117. Moving him up into 4th place. Let's take a look over at Sam Carsala, racing the number 24 McLaren today. Coming down the straight. And a light tap of the brakes. Nurse the car around the fast right-hand bend and gets it back in before the flags. And those little white and red flags there you see on the ground are going to be something you want to pay attention to today. There are particular parts of this track where it is pretty much impossible not to go off while you are on the racing line, and they have left those flags on the track as markers of where you have to be back inside the lines in order to stay valid. You can see 2 of them there on the outside on the curbing. Shu Chen going to set a new fastest lap of the race, 153.870. He's certainly going to be happy with that, putting 2nd place almost a second off of his pace. Well done there from Sam Carsala. Going to cross the line with a 0.9 second improvement. Sets a personal best of a 155.92, moving him up into 8th place. Also got Paul Valenstein here. Also, 1 second improvement. Going around the 3rd sector, tricky bit of the track, but probably where the most time is to be gained for the majority of drivers here. Andrew Sear also continuing to find pace, 1.3 seconds up. Spencer Brown almost a second up. Javier Marquez sneaks in with a 154.585. And Paul Valenstein going to hang on to that lap. Sets a personal best, 158.147, and he's going to hang out in 16th place. Take a look over here. We've got a little bit of a train of cars that Shu Chen is catching up to on this qualifying lap. Split that up into 2. Let's go to this camera here. Shu Chen making a pass on the outside there. I believe that was somebody letting him through. Making that Lamborghini looking very quick. And he will catch that Porsche just now going into the braking line. Here we go. And Shu Chen's going to be forced to go the wide way around. No room to get around the Porsche. That's number 603. That's going to be Tim Wilkins. Paul Valenstein might be 16th on track, but he's number 1 in the hearts of the North Korean people. As long as you're appreciated somewhere, I guess. Take a look over at Julio Ortiz, half second up coming down the straight. Gets it back inside before the flags. And this corner right here can be especially tricky. Requires a lot of patience. Can't really accelerate very much, just got to kind of maintain your corner speed to be able to hit that late apex. Nicely done there. Looking like he was going to overshoot it just a bit, but manages to keep it inside the white lines. Now just the final hairpin to go. Another lap ruiner right here. But keeps it well inside the lines. He's going to hang on to this lap time. 1 second improvement on his PB, looking in the 156 range. Let's see what that does for his position. Moves him up 2 places. With a 156.31, he's going to sit in P14. Take a look over at Shu Chen. Coming around, it looks like just the... Was that the hairpin? Where was he? No, he's starting his lap, excuse me. About a 10th off. It was looking like he was going to be on pace to set the new fastest of the session, but it may have gotten away from him. We'll check back in with him if he's able to get it back in. Let's take a look at Tony Giordano here. Getting ready to turn onto the straight here in just a moment. I love this camera shot. It's going to be very good looking when we get to the race start. Aston Martin doing a good job of staying planted. Now he's just got a long straight here. You know, maybe contemplate the meaning of life. Go take a bathroom break. Do a couple push-ups. Just put a brick on the gas pedal and you're going to be fine. But a good run down the straight nonetheless, hangs on to his half-second lead on his personal best. Has yet to set, no, that's his last lap, excuse me. I should change that. Let's do best lap. There we go. Best lap of 1:55.307. A little slow in Sector 2. We'll see if he's able to improve that this lap. 6.6 seconds in the Delta now. Let's take a look at the manufacturers so we can see who is doing how well. Despite the volume of Audis and Porsches, they have managed to all land pretty much on top of one another. Nice little kiss at the apex there for Tony Giordano. And he will cross the line, sets a new personal best into the 154s with a 154.762. And that will move him up 2 positions into 5th place. Alex Ardoin also going to try and make an improvement on the personal best. Currently sitting P10, 3/10 in the Delta. And that would be enough to gain him not 1 but 2 positions if he can hang on to it. Looking at P8 start if he can hang on to it. 0.4 now, coming around the corner, finding a little bit more time. Let's see if he can make it stick. It looks like he's going to bleed away a bit of that on the exit. Still plenty of track to make up time. That's a wide entry there, but gets the kiss at the apex. Keeps it inside the lines. Now 7/10 up. And he will be catching traffic, so none too soon. Final corner now. 0.8 seconds. Let's see how the exit is. It looks like he's going to continue to improve that time. Now 0.9 seconds. Can he make it 1 second? Almost, but he sets a 1:54.497, jumping him up 7 places to start the race in P3. I'm certain Javier Marquez won't be happy about that. He's finishing his lap right now. And he does have improvements. That little yellow marker there in Sector 1 and Sector 3 tells us that he just, that lap, set faster sectors there. Now he just needs to get them all in the same lap. Xu Chen starting his lap as well. Looks like there's improvement in Sector 3. Let's see how much. His potential is almost, let's see. Well, he's got about a 1/10 to save there. But nonetheless, very dominant qualifying session for him right now. The only purple he doesn't have is in Sector 3, which is held by Matt Byrne. And it actually looks like they will have tied each other. We've got an update in the chat from DePaul. Paul Ricard is not good to Porsche. Yeah, that seems to be the case, especially that fast right-hand corner at the end of the straight. Can be especially tricky to navigate if you're not used to balancing that Porsche. But let's actually, let's ride on board here with Xu Chen as he finishes his lap. Still on pace to set the fastest lap of the race. Let's do that camera there. Again, we're following the orange Porsche there in the middle of the left-hand screen there. Lets it out a little bit wide and invalidates, unfortunately. And that is going to be his lap over, but, oh, and catches it, and he's going to go ahead and abandon that lap. Can't say I disagree. Looks like the field is mostly locking in, but Eric Gottsacker continuing to find some time to improve. Currently sitting P22, 3/10 in the Delta, rounding the corner. Looks like he gets a little loose there. Yeah, he got more than a little loose, and he will hoop the Porsche there. And that is the corner that is especially not good to Porsche here, because that is a very, very tricky corner to negotiate. A little bit of commentator's curse there, but that is just bound to happen. Andrew Jaski rounding. Let's see, where is he at? He's in Sector 3. Here we're going into this weird one. You got to kind of dive the first apex in order to get the next one. Paul Ricard, because they hate the Porsche, because French or something. That checks out. Especially considering that more than half of the field represents all German manufacturers. Looks like Jaski is going to cross the line here. A slight improvement, moving him up 3 positions with a 155.945. Also looking to improve his last lap time is going to be Joshua Kimball. Let's see if I can, oh, and it looks like he levels out right there. Let's take a look at Andrew Sear. Should shake up the field with some GT4s, get the punting going. Blood for the blood god, am I right? Andrew Sear crosses the line, going to sit P10. Tommy Kogan also on a good lap, currently up a position from where he first qualified. 3/10 in the Delta now, and just getting this lap started. Very tricky couple of corners here. Low speed, you really can't stay on the accelerator for too long. He'll end off too wide and then mess up this straight that he's coming up into. Nice kiss of the apex there, lets it out, gets it back in before the flags. And now he can relax just for a little bit. Still 3/10 in the Delta. And that will be enough for him to take a position, actually 2, looking at P7 if he can secure this lap. Still keeping things nice and composed, hanging on to that 3/10 lead, coming around the last 2 corners now, just the hairpin at the end to go. And that's looking good. Let's see if he hangs on to it, actually improves the time a little bit, now 4/10. Will he make it a half second before the line? Looks like he may have, but he does gain those 2 positions, sitting P7 with a 154.772. Guillermo Martinez also looking for an improvement here, coming down the straight, 2/10 of an improvement. And with just a minute and a half of qualifying left, now is the time to get that lap in. Now just has to feed it around a couple of loose bends. There's the first loose bend to the left. Now a long sweeping right-hand corner into the final hairpin. Stabs the brakes nicely. Loses a bit of speed there. But he will hang on to a quarter-second improvement. And gains a position, moving up to P16 with a 156.112. Julio Ortiz on a little bit of a ripper here, coming down the straight. 6/10 in the Delta now. Let's see what he's able to do with it now, just a little bit. Question in the chat, Matt, that's my name. Do you think Paul Ricard could use some more blue paint? I don't know if it could use more blue paint. I think they just need to make it all blue. Why isn't the racing surface blue? And then make the outside the opposite colors and make it way more exciting and much more dangerous to drive on. But the American in me also likes the red, white, and blue, so. But looks like Julio Ortiz is going to invalidate that lap. Not going to be able to secure that personal best before the end of qualifying. Let's see what Tony Giordano's doing over here. Agreed, also sprinklers everywhere. And get rid of all the lights while we're at it. And you're only allowed to drive here at night. It's like just a couple of cars out on the tracks. We're getting ready for this session to end. Looks like both Andrew Jaski and Tony Giordano both on improvements. Paul Ricard actually has sprinklers in real life. No way. I actually didn't know that. Isn't it? Well, isn't it a test track though? That makes sense. Ooh, Tony Giordano off wide. A little eager to secure that last lap. Puts it off the track and is going to have to retire that lap. Andrew Jaski out on the track. 1 corner to go here. It looks like he's going to bleed away a bit too much speed on that inside curbing. And he's going to practice his pit stop. A smart decision from the driver there. Because this is one of the trickiest pit stops, I think, in the entire schedule. Javier Marquez still out, finds a little bit of time just there. 1 corner to go. Let's see if we can get that green split here. It does not look like it is to be on this lap. Javier Marquez is going to cross the line just a little bit off his best pace, but will finish in P4. Or will be starting in P4, excuse me. And that is our qualifying session. Update in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, it's a test track that people for some reason think should be a racetrack for people who enjoy paint and migraines. Oh, those are correct observations. But that is our qualifying. Congratulations, Xu Chen, with the very dominant fastest lap. Almost 3/10 up on Matt Byrne in second place, but Matt Byrne in second place and Alex Ardoin in third. And that is going to be our podium. And Matt Byrne's livery, we can see there displayed proudly in very mixed colors there, trying to make sure that we can see him on camera, and might I say, sir, mission accomplished. Let me get my mouse back, and let's do our, let's go ahead and do that, and then that. All right, let's take a look at the field. So as we mentioned, Xu Chen, oh, that's right, my camera doesn't like doing that direction because I've got more than one computer, and it is picky. But that is Xu Chen there in first place in the Lamborghini, starting in second, Matt Byrne in a BMW. And that is going to be Alex Ardoin in third place, Javier Marquez in P4, Jeff Spangler in P5, Tony Giordano, P6, followed by Tommy Kogan and Sam Carasala. Daniel Wright there on the right in the number 73 car, and P9, Andrew Sear to close out our top 10. That's going to be followed by Spencer Brown, Ice Tin, Max Sunkenlap, Andrew Jaski, Rick Reeder, Guillermo Martinez, Julio Ortiz, Josh Kimball, Jens Stam, and Andre Lloyd to round out the top 20. And then Paul Valenstein, Eric Gottsacker, Liam McNeil, Tim Wilkins, Brian Katz. I think that is, let's see, is that Rick Reeder? No, I already read him, but my leaderboard is off the screen. Hold on. That one doesn't help me either. Hold on. Hold on. Professional streamer, everybody. I know what I'm doing. That's going to be Brian Katz, Roadside Cookie, and Niall Drake to finish out the grid. And Niall Drake, our resident Irishman, drives the controller. I don't know if that's a cultural norm over in Ireland, but for some reason I can't talk crap about him because he's still faster than me, even with a controller. Gotta love the consistency of the Porsches. Yeah, and actually, let's go ahead. I'm gonna get my mouse back and let's take a look at the starting grid. Get rid of that blank screen and just look at the manufacturers here. Kind of show you where everybody's landing. Right now, Xu Chen in first place, the only Lamborghini on the field. Matt Byrne, one of 2 BMWs. Alex Ardoin, I think he's the only AMG on the field, finishing P3. But look at that cluster there over on the left-hand side of your screen. Got basically 5 Porsches all stacked on top of each other. And the Audis really only have about 1 car in between each of them. That will definitely be interesting. 30 seconds till we get this this race underway. We've got a formation lap that we've got to get through. Not the longest one on the schedule, but gives us a chance for me to get these hiccups out of my system. Ugh. For anybody who might need to, go get yourself a drink of water, bathroom break, whatever you got to do. We're going to get this race started here in about 3 minutes. Just all the Porsches, just all milling about at the back, waiting to strike. Here's where Porsches will trick you. Is the way you're framing that as if the Porsches are going to strike the other cars, when in reality, the Porsche is just going to kill their own drivers. At least that's what it does when I'm driving it. A strike is a strike. Okay, fair enough. You didn't specify which. I love the chaotic energy of Matt Burns' livery. I gotta admit, I don't disagree. But I'm also a fan of, and he's not racing today, but Melon Pitch's liveries. We like to call them the Pitch Special. Most people call them eyesores. But I live for the chaotic energy. That's what I'm all about. And take a look at that starting grid, ladies and gentlemen. Nice wide shot there of all the corners coming around these S's. Probably the last time we'll see them doing it slowly. Shu Chen and Matt Byrne playing a little game. In fact, let's take a look at what that looks like inside the car. Oh, right as we click to that camera, he backs off. Of course. More liveries need to be the designer split their subway on the design sheet, and we're afraid to admit it. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Oh, it looks like we've got an Audi that hooped it a little bit. Good thing we didn't catch that on camera, right, Eiston? Been there before. You're dragging your brakes, you're just trying to get everything warmed up, and then all of a sudden, your Audi is sideways. Good job, ACC does the whole ghost cars on the formation lap. Oh my, yeah, we'd never start a race again. I'd be screwing with everybody. In fact, I know that most of the drivers would be. Unlike iRacing, where everyone would be screaming over comms by now. Yeah, yep, accurate. All right, the drivers are gonna start lining up double file right about now. Pretty soon here, we're going to have this race underway. See there, it looks like Javier Marquez taking this last opportunity to get a couple more wiggles in there, try and bring some heat into the tires. And any moment here, we will have a race on our hands. 27 cars to start this race here at Paul Ricard. I want to go ahead and thank everybody here for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed qualifying. We're about to have what I am sure is going to be a very exciting race on our hands. And of course, thanks to all of the league organizers that helped put this together, and of course, the drivers for showing up. 27 of them this week. And any second now, there's the green flag, and this race is underway. It looks like an even start there for both Shu Chen and Matt Byrne, but Alex Ardoin starting to close up a little bit on the group as we race down into turn one. It is going to be very close between Matt Byrne and Alex Ardoin. Looks like they space out there. Sam Carsala going for a lunge on the outside there, and that is turn one down. Shu Chen getting out in front. A little bit of a cut on the inside. We can see the safety cone thrown to the outside of the track. Who needs it anyway? And now it looks like it is going to be Javier Marquez and Jeff Spangler side to side going into turns 3 and 4. Shu Chen getting out in front just a little bit. Let's look at the back of the field here. We can see one car, it looks like an Audi, shoved out to the outside, and Javier Marquez to the inside of the track. We've got a yellow flag. Andrew Sear turned around just a couple of corners behind us. Most of the grid still moving around double file. We can see a little bit of confusion there on the inside in the middle of the pack. But it looks like everybody being able to get through there without running into each other too bad. Let's take a look up at the front of the grid here. Our race leaders still pretty close to one another coming into turn 1. That's Xu Chen, followed by Matt Byrne, Alex Ardoin, and Jeff Spangler in P4. Is going to be our front grid, or front pack, it looks like. Still pretty close to one another. Tony Giordano starting to close the gap just a little bit. And let me fix my pit window here. There's that. There will be a mandatory pit stop 20 minutes into the race. Let's put our gaps there on the side. Now that they're all a little bit more settled out, but most of the pack still pretty much stacked on top of one another. As a matter of fact, I think we're just going to open it up to the helicam just so we can get some shot at being able to see everything that's going on here. And actually, while we're at it, why don't I just do this? Let's go right here. Go TV2. And let's throw it in a picture-in-picture for a little bit here. And actually, let's do that and that. There we go. Xu Chen still starting to pull a little bit of a gap to Matt Byrne, just behind him. Alex Ardoin right on top of him. We see there John Stam is getting caught up to, I believe that's Rick Reeder there on the inside. When it looks like it's gonna be very close between the two of them, so let's go look at that action here. Rick Reeder does manage to notch out just in front. Not sure why his livery's not showing up on my other computer. We'll deal with that later. Oh, and we've got a Porsche spun around and just off camera there. Or at least a little sideways there, whoever it was. I don't see a yellow flag, so they must have gotten it sorted out. Sam Carasala on the defense here. Ice Tin really starting to push him, getting the advantage of that draft. And will make the pass there happen. Not much that Sam Carasala can do about that. Ooh, a little bit inside and a little bit loose there, and now he's gonna lose some time there. Daniel Wright, yellow flag. How did that happen? Oh, he's falling so fast I can't get the camera on him. So he is stuck somewhere. Oh, he went very off wide. Looks like Andrew Sear also taking a bit of a trip out there. Ooh, Guillermo Martinez and Rick Reeder, a bit of contact there. Also looks like Julio Ortiz and Jan Stam very close to one another. And Xu Chen and Jeff Spangler now start the competition to see who can drive faster, with both of them setting fastest lap. But Jeff Spangler hanging on to it by just a little less than 1/10 of a second. We've got a drag race now between Joshua Kimball and Julio Ortiz. Joshua Kimball motions for the inside, gets there before Julio does, but Julio carries more speed on the outside and is able to hang on to that position, defending the pass well. Joshua Kimball now has some company. We have Paul Valenstein and Andre Lloyd right behind him. That's a little known fact right there, Mr. J.A. Games. Joshua Kimball, a wanted man in many states. Not as wanted as his evil twin, Phil Kimball. Or Jim Kimball, that's what it was. Gotta watch out for that guy. Something I'm very surprised by is still just how tightly packed the majority of the field is. Most of them inside of a second of, well, several other cars. Joshua Kimball getting a bit of a drag down the straight here by Julio Ortiz, closing the gap just 1/10 at a time. And Javier Marquez makes a pass on Tommy Kogan. Let's take a look at that. Must have been a lunge on one of the corners there. We've got a first-time chat with some bad news, unfortunately. Well, that was nothing but sadness for me. Race ruined on lap 1 because of pit window and damage. There's no coming back. I've certainly been there, friend. I've definitely been there before. Matt Byrne and Xu Chen starting to get pretty close to one another. Now the gap down to 3/10. Lamborghini versus BMW. We'll see who comes out on top. BMW looks to the inside. Matt Byrne, no room to make it happen. Shu Chen's just going to follow through the racing line and keep that nice, colorful, very visible BMW right behind him. Let's stop streaming the race and just play Fugitive, see if anyone notices. Very fun game, that. If you've never played Fugitive, ask me about it when I'm not on stream. Battle for first starting to loosen up a little bit. Let's take a look at the battle for 9th place behind Andrew Jaski. Max Sunkenlap, a nice 10, putting him under some pressure. When we see a good pass there on the outside, but the Aston Martin not quite able to make it stick. And Max Sunkenlap hands the position right back to Ice Tin. Looks like Jaski growing that gap out. So let's watch these two. And actually, as I'm saying that, Joshua Kimball and Julio Ortiz seem to have snugged up to one another again. And Joshua Kimball, great timing for him, as he's going to get that advantage down the straight. Might be able to close the gap. See, just 2/10 now. We can see how close he is getting to the rear bumper there. Look at that, coming to turn 1. He makes the lunge for it. Let's see if he makes the pass happen. Just a couple of more yards to go before they're on the brakes. And he's going to slot in behind him and wait for another opportunity to pass there. Ooh, Aston Martin out a little bit wide. So is the Porsche and the Audi behind him. Got to be careful of those track warnings. Just a couple of minutes into this race. Don't want to start racking those up very soon. A little bit wide outside there for Julio Ortiz is allowing Joshua Kimball to get on that apex and start to close that gap just a little bit each corner. Joshua Kimball really looking for a way around that Aston Martin. But Aston doing a very good job of driving defensively. Not really giving Joshua any opportunities to try and get around. Take a look at the battle for 21st right now. Liam McNeil on the defense. Has to skip a little bit of the track there. I'm sure he'll be getting a track warning for that. And the two cars behind him, Daniel Wright and Eric Gottsacker. A little bit of contact there. Bit of rubbing his racing. That was a great defense. Daniel Wright starting to close the gap here a little bit. Between the two of them, Daniel Wright does have the faster lap time, but Liam McNeil doing a good job of holding him back. Ooh! And I'm not sure what happens there, but Daniel Wright almost flips the car, manages to do a nice little pirouette there and get it going again. Let's take a look at what happened here. Ooh, it looks like he may have gotten a little bit out wide there, and the curbing just put him into the wall. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But that is what just happened. Julio Ortiz there getting hung out to dry. Looks like Jan Stam and Josh Kimball capitalizing in that. Josh Kimball really closing up on Jan Stam here. Let's take a look at their lap times here. Joshua Kimball, fastest lap, just a little bit faster. Let's get it back on the previous lap. There we go. And he's gaining on him by about a half second a lap. Right now, this is the closest battle for position on the field. Joshua Kimball really pushing. Try and gain as many positions as he can, starting P18, currently P16. Got Black Fox in the chat. That was something. Yeah, it was something on stream too. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you. We see Julio Ortiz wanting a little bit of revenge on Joshua Kimball, wants that position back. Goes for a jump on the outside there. Let's see if he can make the pass stick. Now coming into the fast left to right-hander. And he's got the inside. Joshua Kimball has the speed though. Can he get back on track? He does. Now into the next corner. There's just out in front of Julio Ortiz. Runs it out a little bit wide though. Overcooks it, and that is going to give the position back to Julio Ortiz. Oh, and they get very close there on the outside. That was, I'm sure, not fun for either driver there. And now Joshua Kimball going to have to try and push past to get that position back from Julio Ortiz. With how close these two are, let's do a little bit of this. And let's do that and that. There we go. Riding on the board with Joshua Kimball following Julio Ortiz. Through turns 2, now up into turn 3. Looks like Julio Ortiz getting a little bit better of a run through there. Neither driver setting a remarkably fast lap by their own paces. I don't believe he will quite be close enough to get the draft down the straight. Check in on the top 10 here. Andrew Jaski on the defense against Ice 10. Ice 10 having a pretty good race, up 2 positions since race start. And actually, we now have a 3-car battle for 22nd behind Eric Gottsager as we watch Roadside Cookie make a lunge on the outside, down the straight, too wide, with an Audi close in tow. Roadside Cookie out in front. I think he's going to hang on to it. It looks like Daniel Wright makes the pass happen too. It is very close going through there. Ooh, and it's actually getting very close between Paul Valenstein and Josh Kimball now, as these two seem to be trading positions. A little bit out wide there for Josh. Maybe some opportunity here to get it on the cut back in. That's a compromised line for the Porsche. The AMG looks to be capitalizing on it, but runs out of room. And just like that, he is riding the rear bumper of another car. And not much Paul Valenstein can do about it. He makes the lunge. Let's see if he makes it happen. Joshua Kimball on the inside. Porsche on the inside. Oh, he just cannot find the way around there. It's a narrower part of track than it looks on camera. Josh Kimball wise to not try to force the issue, but now he has Andre Lloyd to think about. Ooh, and Josh Kimball off wide there. Looks like power may have gotten around, or away from him, excuse me. And he's going to lose the position to Andre Lloyd there. Looks like Niall Drake wants a piece as well. Oh, and just off camera, we see Joshua Kimball starting to make a move. There we go. We can see them both just how close they are coming down this straight. And here we go now into the corner. We see there Niall Drake off very wide. Gets it back on the track though. Joshua Kimball looks to the outside there, but I don't know if that's gonna work for him. There's just no way to get around that corner quickly no matter how you try and take it. Joshua Kimball looks to the inside and still just not quite close enough to try and make the move happen. Take a look up the grid a little bit. Andrew Jaski and Max Sunkenlap trading positions there for just a moment. Jaski gets out in front. Their last laps. Pretty stark difference there. Not sure if it was just a rough lap for Jaski. But Max Untenlap will pull in about 2 seconds this lap. Tony Giordano and Javier Marquez getting very close there. We just missed the pass on camera. Oh, and it looks like Tony Giordano just narrowly avoids spinning the car. Let's take a look at the last 30 seconds there. This is, again, we're watching a replay here. Javier Marquez and Tony Giordano trying to make pretty drama-free pass here. We can see the Aston behind has a ton of pace here. And not sure what happens by the end of the straight. There we go. Looks to the outside. Antonius on a jeopardized inside line. There's contact is what happens there. Loses the front a little bit. Yeah, we can see the retaliatory blinkers there. Andrew Jaski and Max Untenlap still at it. And actually, battle for first is heating up there. It looked like Xu Chen had got just on top of him. And just like that, there's a 1 second gap. So not sure what happened there. Let's watch Jan Stam here and Julio Ortiz. We've been watching Julio Ortiz for a good chunk of this race, working his way up the pack. Both drivers doing good up positions since their starting positions. And Jan Stam pulling a slightly better lap, 3/10 on Julio Ortiz right there. Joshua Kimball and Andre Lloyd have gotten close to one another again. Their last lap's pretty similar there, but it is going to be advantage Andre Lloyd. And car number 15 picks up the first drive-through for track penalty, or track warnings. That is going to be Andrew Jaski, serving an extra pit stop this race. And about a minute and a half before the pit window, unfortunately. This is looking very good for Joshua Kimball coming down the straight. Andre Lloyd is going to have AMG all over the rear side. There we go. Josh looking for a way through. Can't quite find the room to make it happen. Oh, he just almost has the pace. It's just barely not enough. That is a long straight, and I don't think I would have expected it to go that way. Josh tries to squeeze himself in the middle there. And Andre Lloyd closes that down. Now Liam McNeil has entered this battle for 18th. The Audi's top end is just too strong. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Andrew Jaski gonna go ahead and serve his mandatory drive-through penalty. Cider 6, sup Moose, how you doing? Glad to see ya. How you been? Welcome to the race. 10 laps in, 20 minutes in to a hour-long race here at Paul Ricard. Plenty of action to be seen everywhere, and very interestingly, Joshua Kimball and Andre Lloyd tie each other's laps last lap. As you can see by the gray zeros there in the middle. Alan, yeah, I recognize that was your username. How you doing, my friend? Bummed to not see you out on track. Andre Lloyd overcooks it through that turn. Has to slow down a little bit. Allows Joshua Kimball to make a lunge there on the inside coming into turns 4 and 5. And yet that Audi is just barely hanging on by a thread out in front. Ooh, but he may have overcooked it there. That's Joshua Kimball through. And will almost certainly hang on to it going around now down to the final corner before the straight. They're both round it. Liam McNeil out in front. And he manages to get out and stay out in front. But as we saw last time down this straight, that Audi has a lot of pace in a straight line. Let's see if the Aston can stave him off. It actually looks like he's going to be able to do so comfortably, as the Aston Martin seems to have caught up to the AMG by the end of the straight. How was your hike, Alan? Sam Carsala into the pits. It is, so I should mention, the pit window is open. We've got a 20-minute window. Everybody has to come in. Looks like Sam Carsala going to be the first one. Daniel Wright also into the pits now. Let's hop back in the field a little bit. Liam McNeil and Andrew Jaski getting pretty close to one another. Battle for P20. Ooh, and a good move there by Jaski up the inside, capitalizing on a mistake there from the Porsche driver. Certainly not decided yet, though. But Andrew Jaski got to be focused on making those moves happen as quickly as he can after serving that drive-through. Still has a regular pit stop to serve. Jan Stam starting to catch up to Julio Ortiz for P13. Chat, unsympathetic to the Porsche driver. The real mistake was driving the Porsche, and the Porsche is the perfect car. Wait, the Porsche is the perfect car. It is never a mistake picking it. A little bit of confliction there in the sentiment by chat. And me here, being the commentator and impartial observer, is going to pick sides here and say, yeah, picking a Porsche was a mistake for Paul Ricard. Sam Carsala and Daniel Wright, both with 40-second standing times there in the pits. Does indicate that they may have repaired some damage. I know we saw the front end of the McLaren had gotten dinged up a little bit. That's Sam Carsala's car. Take a look over at Jeff Spangler. Currently holding fastest lap of the race, just falling outside that 2-second boundary there, but I believe he is the only Honda on track. Let's take a look here. Indeed he is. Currently sitting P5. Andrew Jaski trying to make a run on Roadside Cookie here, trying to recover another position from that drive-through penalty. I think that is going to be the move made there, but the Porsche on the inside line going to have the advantage here. BMW just tries to outrun him, and I believe he makes it work. Both Xu Chen and Tony Giordano into the pits now. Yeah, Roadside Cookie having a great race, up 6 positions since race start. We're not quite halfway through yet, so very strong performance there. I'm still weirded out not seeing him in a Lamborghini. But Max Sunkenlap and Rick Reeder apparently very close to one another. And gap back out almost immediately. Looks like Shu Chen let back out. Just behind that looks like Liam McNeil. And let's see, makes short work of that pass. Probably a little bit of cooperation there from the other driver. Ooh, and they get almost contact between the two of them there. Actually, it looks like Roadside Cookie starting to catch back up to Andrew Jaski. Let's take a look at those two again. Here we go. You see that Porsche starting to close the gap, but he's running out of straight. That Porsche's got legs, though. The BMW can't do anything about it. They're almost side by side now coming into the fast right-hander at the end of the straight. Porsche gets some good rotation there, but the BMW able to go the long way around just as quickly and gets out in front of the Porsche before the next corner. Javier Marquez and Spencer Brown now into the pits. BMWs seem a bit lacking on grunt around here. I am surprised by that, if I'm honest. Not necessarily because the BMW is known to be very fast in a straight line. It isn't. But the Porsche, though, being able to catch up to him. And there we go, Andrew Jaski into the pits. Max Sunkenlap and Rick Reeder catching each other down the straight. Ooh, and it will be very close between these two. Oh, the Audi brakes first. The Aston Martin lunges out in front. Let's see who has more control coming around, though. It is still wheel to wheel down into the next corner. And I believe the Aston Martin has to slot in behind the Audi, but it is not over yet. The Aston Martin gaining a little bit of time on the inside there, but just no room to make the pass happen. And chat, speaking of Josh Kimball, oh my goodness, what timing there. Catches the Tokyo Drift. Even though he's going to lose some time, what a save there by Joshua Kimball. Can I claim partial curse? You can claim whatever you want. Chat's always right. I'm the streamer. I'm always wrong. What are you, new to Twitch? Ooh, yellow flag for Eric Gottsacker. I think he was just going a little bit slow there. Max Sunkenlap really applying the pressure to Rick Reeder. Okay, live streaming then. Several cars into the pits there. Tommy Kogan, Alex Erdogan, Guillermo Martinez, and Jeff Spangler. And there is the halfway mark called. 30 minutes down, 15 laps in. Rick Reeder starting to get a little out ahead. Yellow flag for Jeff Spangler. That's just him leaving the pits. There we can see Tony Giordano gets around Tommy Kogan. God, I have had hiccups all night. I'm sorry, folks. Liam McNeil and Roadside Cookie into the pits as well. Shu Chen makes a pass on Niall Drake there. Nice line of cars there as we watch Shu Chen trying to catch the back of Joshua Kimball. We'll check back in with this in just a moment because Niall Drake just behind him, trying to fend off Andre Lloyd. Or excuse me, he's right on the back of Shu Chen. That's why the timer says that. Ooh, a little bit loose there. Rick Reeder goes out wide. Or Andre Lloyd, excuse me. I'm getting my red cars mixed up. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Liam McNeil and Roadside Cookie. Oh, they're just leaving the pits. I wish it wouldn't do that. But Shu Chen caught up to Joshua Kimball now. And gets the pass done there. We see, believe that was intentional by Josh there, and a smart decision to be sure. Looks like Josh Kimball into the pits now. As is Andre Lloyd. Max Sunkenlap and Ice Tin also in the pits. Interestingly enough, Matt Burns still out on the track. 7 minutes left in the pit window. And look at him being nice and visible. 5 cars in the pits right now. Looks like Ice Tin let back out. Let's check in on Shu Chen again here. Oh, where'd he go? Max, okay, there we go. Matt Burney into the pits. You wouldn't lose that car in a parking lot. You'd have a real tough time. And if you did, I reserve the right to make fun of you for the rest of your life. Ice Tin and Spencer Brown duking it out here. Actually, as I'm saying that, Javier Marquez and Niall Drake getting pretty close to one another. It looks like Shu Chen's caught up to another car here. It's going to be Paul Valenstein. Paul still has a pit stop to serve here, so he'd be wise not to try and defend against Shu Chen. I believe he's going to serve that pit stop now. There we go, into the pits. Gets it slowed down in time. Yellow flag for Matt Byrne is him leaving the pits again. Or the yellow flag is telling me that someone has left the pits, not that Matt Byrne has gotten a yellow flag again, or left the pits again. Follow Daniel Wright here and Andrew Jaski. Both of them pretty similar lap times, though it does seem to be advantage Daniel. Like 2 more cars into the pits, Paul Valenstein and Niall Drake. I believe that just leaves Jan Stam as the final car to serve a pit. No, him and Rick Reeder, excuse me. Let's take a look up at Alex Ardoin. Started the race in P3, now in P5, which should be P3 once these final 2 drivers make it into the pits. There goes Rick Reeder. But under a little bit of pressure here by Javier Marquez. Looking at their last laps here, although I believe Alex may have been let out of the pits on this lap, but we'll see what they do with this next lap coming up here. Nonetheless, that gap is getting just a bit larger. And Shu Chen going to set a new fastest lap of the race, 154.63. And there are their previous laps there. Looks like advantage Ardoin by just 0.3. Ooh, and car number 66 going to be the next one to pick up a penalty for track limits. That is going to be Max Sunkenlap. Jan Stam still has not served the mandatory pit stop, has 3 minutes to do so. So I'm sure we'll see that happen anytime. And Matt Byrne seems to have some company here. I believe that's actually Jan Stam out in front of him. Ooh, and we can see there just how much control Matt Byrne has of that BMW, making that pass look easy. So that also, again, may have just been a conscious decision there by the Porsche driver to let the blue flag car go. But Spencer Brown and Ice Tin very close to each other. It is going to be another drag race into the fast right-hander. Oh, and they bump each other just a little bit. A little extra drama for the cameras there, boys. And it does look like Spencer Brown's going to back out of it and let Ice Tin through. Xu Chen finds somehow another little bit of time there in his lap. So that's new fastest lap, 154.54. About a half second than faster than our current race leader. Ooh, that was a very well taken turn there by Spencer Brown. Well, we got a yellow flag on Joshua Kimball. Looks like he may have been visiting the wall there a little bit, but I don't see any damage to his car. Not sure what happened there. Well, let's tune back into this battle here. So we can see Ice Tin trying to fend off Spencer Brown, who may have just made the pass stick. They get very close. Now it is wheel to wheel into turn 3. Ice Tin does stay out in front, though. Only barely. Spencer Brown goes for the move on the inside and manages to stop an accident from happening there. Max Sunkenlap going to serve his pit stop, or his penalty, excuse me. And Jan Stam into the pits. And there's the drive-through penalty cleared for Max Sunkenlap. Let's go ahead and get an onboard look at these two. Well, that camera angle doesn't help us very much. Let's do this. There we go. Ooh, that front Audi gets a little bit loose, and that lets Spencer Brown close up on him. And you can hear there just by the engine note how much the drivers have to be patient. Basically just coast around that corner. But actually, as we were watching this, let's go ahead and take a look over here. We've got a pack of 3 cars very close to one another, battling it out for 14th. Daniel Wright just barely on front. There's contact between him and Jan Stam. Oh, and there's even more contact there as Andrew Jaski gets collected in it, but it looks like the Porsche, or the Audi and the BMW get away from it, and Jan Stam left out to dry. Looks like Max Sunkenlap making a narrow pass happen. There's more contact there between the Porsche and the Aston Martin driver. Oh, and Max Sunkenlap way off course there. Gets it turned back around and onto the track. I agree with you, chat. This could have all been avoided if the track was painted orange. Oh, and they're getting very close again now. Spencer Brown wants a piece of that Aston Martin. Ooh, it looks like a great move there by Spencer Brown on the inside is going to net him a position. Joshua Kimball and Jan Stam getting pretty close to another. And actually, we've got a little bit of a 4-car battle behind Paul Valenstein for 15th. Oh, and man, we've got quite the cluster of cars here. Can't even really keep track of who all is where, but let's throw it up on the helicam just so we can have some shot at trying to keep track of it all. It's gonna be Andre Lloyd out in front, followed by Paul Valenstein, Jan Stam, Josh Kimball, Niall Drake, and Spencer Brown are all in contention here. A good move by Jan Stam there. Paul Valenstein having to fend off another Porsche driver now. And it is going to be very close here. Let's see what his rear view mirror looks like. It is crowded back there. Oh, it looks like he wants to make a move on Andre Lloyd. And he might just have it here. We can see they are neck and neck coming down this straight here. And it looks like Jan Stam may also get a chance at it. We are going to go 3 wide into the final right-hand corner at the end of this straight. And I have no idea what is going to happen here, but it is not going to be safe. It looks like Jan Stam just barely nosing out in front, and there's contact, massive contact between the 3 cars. I'm not sure what just happened there. But that was ugly. Oh no. Andre Lloyd looks to have survived it. Jan Stam and Paul Valenstein here now making their way back out onto the track. Oh, the stewards are gonna have a fun time with that one. Oh, that was never going to end well there, folks. Andrew Jaski into the pits now. Did he have another penalty? I didn't think he did. Ooh, Niall Drake off wide there is going to open the door to Josh Kimball to close the gap a little bit. Spencer Brown right on his toes to try and capitalize on that. We can see the Audi on the inside going to try and get the run on him into turn 1. And it looks like he has it. That Audi is just blisteringly fast in a straight line. And now that he is done with Josh Kimball, now Niall Drake is on the menu. And it looks like he's gonna have him. Some good driving there by Spencer Brown. Looks like now Max Sunkenlap and Andre Lloyd are gonna get into it down the straight. And in an interesting turn of events, we actually have a bit of a pack starting to develop again. Ooh, and a yellow flag for Josh Kimball. I think he just got out a little bit wide there. Audi driver not happy about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the position delta since the start of the race here. And a couple of drivers with remarkable drives, and actually very interesting P3 through 7. Alex Ardoin, Javier Marquez, Jeff Spangler, Tony Giordano, and Tommy Kogan hanging on to the position they started in. Niall Drake having a very good drive, up 12 positions on the day. And here we go. It's going to be another very tight pack through the first sector of this lap. Tommy Kogan, Tony Giordano change positions. That's going to be Tony Giordano 6, Tommy Kogan 7 now. And Sam Carasala actually getting very close to a pass here on Guillermo Martinez and makes it happen going into the fast right-hander at the end of the straight. And it looks like he makes that pass with some authority. Definitely a good move there by Sam Carasala, getting himself back up into the top 10. 2 positions to go to get back where he started. It's going to be a tall order. We'll see what he's able to do in the next 12 minutes. Tommy Kogan and Tony Giordano now getting very close to one another. And a battle for P6 coming around. It looks like they're in Sector 3. No, excuse me, have just started their lap. Oh, Andre Lloyd and Joshua Kimball. Oh, this is going to be good. 4 cars into the end of the straight there, and they managed to do it a little bit better than the last time we saw it around. We got a yellow flag on Tony Giordano. It looks like we just missed whatever happened there. Let's keep tuned in over here. Thank goodness we have helicopters stationed all over the track. You see there, Max Something Lap trying to find a way around. Not quite able to make it happen. The ARC helicopter budget would fail the F1 cost cap. You are not wrong about that. Ooh, roadside cookie. He's gonna try and make a run on Max Something Lap into turn 1. I think he's got it. And that is the move completed there by Roadside Cookie. Max Something Lap not out of it yet, though. Now we'll have the crosshairs pointed at Josh Kimball. And there's a pace comparison for the two of you there. Roadside Cookie does have the advantage by about 3/4 of a second, at least on the previous lap. Roadside Cookie getting very close to Joshua Kimball. Looks at the inside. Knows there's not room to make it happen. Slots in behind the AMG in front of him. Ooh, Joshua Kimball out wide, and that opens the door to Roadside Cookie. He takes it with a little bit of a bump there to Josh Kimball. Looks like Josh Kimball also gets taken there by Max Something Lap. Not the cleanest pass we've seen today, not the dirtiest pass we've seen either. Ooh, and another drive-through penalty for track limits is going to be handed out to Julio Ortiz, sitting up in P12. Yeah, I agree. The stewards will definitely have their hands full with this one. see Alan Zoo in the chat. Not gonna lie, disappointed there's no AM points this season. I tend to agree. If I remember correctly, though, there were some problems with how SimGrid wanted to handle AM and Pro licenses. Made it so we couldn't update them mid-season or something like that. But Roadside Cookie gonna try for the lunge on the inside there and makes the move happen. Now Max Sunkenlap gonna look for his opportunity. Oh, I'm not sure if that was contact. Hold on, let's go back there. We gotta see that again. Looked like the Audi it kind of got away from him a little bit, but they're very close to one another. And there he is. There is slight contact there between him and Max Sunkenlap. Now Andre Lloyd's, has he caught up to Shu Chen, or did Shu Chen just get around him? I think Shu Chen probably just got around him. But Max Sunkenlap and Joshua Kimball now going to be very close to one another, starting this next lap. Julio Ortiz going to clear that drive-through, let back out onto the track now. We'll be right in front of these two. Joshua Kimball has the inside. Oh, and there's just barely room for the Aston Martin to squeak through there. And Max Sunkenlap will hang on to that position. There's Matt Byrne in the background there. And once again, zero chance that we'll ever miss that car. Ooh, Max Sunkenlap overcooks it a little bit, loses the back end. Joshua Kimball closes the gap down just a little bit more. He's gonna have a better run through these next couple of corners. And let's see what happens on the straight now. We've seen the Aston Martins pretty quick in a straight line, though. Matt Burns slowly reeling them in. Yep, and it's going to be Matt Byrne there hitting Josh Kimball with the blinkers. Oh, as he overcooks it just a little bit into that turn. Oh, it looks like Josh Kimball dives to the outside to let that pass happen. And now he will be setting his sights on Max Sunkenlap. Let's take a look over here at a battle for position. Jeff Spangler and Javier Marquez now getting very close to one another, and it looks like they have somebody sandwiched in between the two of them. Can't quite make out who that is. Jeff Spangler gets around. And now we'll have set his sights on Javier Marquez out in front. Let's take a look at their last laps here. Substantial advantage, Jeff Spangler, although he may have been held up by traffic, Javier Marquez. Four minutes to go here, just a couple of laps left. We're 28 laps into this race, looking like a 30-lap race tonight. And right now, Matt Byrne with a fairly commanding lead of 4 seconds on Shu Chen, who has a pretty even more commanding lead on Alex Ardoin for third place of 9.8 seconds. This next lap will definitely shed some light on whether or not Javier Marquez and Jeff Spangler will be getting any closer together. They have more or less maintained that 1.7 gap for the entirety of this lap. There's the final hairpin there. It does look like Jeff Spangler is lapping about 1/10.5 faster than Javier Marquez, at least on that last lap. We may actually see those two battle for position by the time this race is over. Only 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, though. Something I am sure Jeff Spangler is very aware of. Let's take a look over here. We got another battle for position behind Paul Wallenstein. Liam McNeil and Eric Gottsacker battling at 420th position. JA Games in the chat. 3 minutes left for ACC to unveil the meteor storm weather option and really shake up this race. We would be so lucky. Ooh, yellow flag for Xu Chen there for just a moment. And it looks like he loses about 2.5 seconds there. Looks like we may have a 2 wide through this fast right-hander. Actually, no, Liam McNeil gets out just in front. And it looks like the move is made now. Liam McNeil P20, Paul Wallenstein 21. And now Eric Gottsacker wants a piece. Leader is on the final lap. Matt Byrne has crossed the start-finish line for his final lap of this race. Now the pressure's definitely going to be on Jeff Spangler and Javier Marquez to get that battle figured out for P4. But right now it is between Eric Gottsacker and Paul Wallenstein for P21. Ooh, and just like that, Jeff Spangler has made a bit of a catch on Javier Marquez. And we are now inside of a half second here. And actually, just as I say that, we got to look back. Eric Gottsacker just barely hanging on to that position there by Paul Wallenstein. Or actually, no, excuse me, he made that pass happen. That is Tommy Kogan in between the two of them. Let's keep up with these two here, coming down into the straight. That's Andre Lloyd out in front. Oh, and that Honda is going to be problems for the Aston Martin driver there. We can see him making the run on him, and look at that straight line speed difference. That's almost not fair. Oh, is that... Oh, I didn't realize that Javier Marquez had taken damage. Here, let's get a closer look at the front of that car. Oh, sure enough, just a little bit. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, he's got damage to the hood. And yeah, that's going to directly impact his straight line speed, and that's going to make for an easy pass there for Jeff Spangler, moving up into 4th place, and will likely finish there this race. Check it on Matt Byrne here. Yep, we can see the blinkers there as he comes around the final hairpin and down the pit straight. And he will cross the line in 1st place here at Paul Ricard for his first place finish here of the series. It's going to be a 2nd podium finish, and he'll certainly be happy with his standings there, with the drift there for celebration there at the end of the lap there. Xu Chen finishing in P2, Alex Ardoin in P3, Jeff Spangler going to cross the line right behind him, Javier for P5, Tommy Kogan now rounding the final corner. It looks like Liam McNeil just in front of him. And Tommy Kogan will finish this race in P6. Tony Giordano coming around the final corner now in P7. Let's throw up the position delta there. Losing out to Tommy Kogan by just a position, but still a very solid finish there in the top 10. Ice Tin going to finish his race 4 positions up on the day, finishing in P8. Rick Reeder also going to have a very strong finish in P9, up 6 positions on the day. And there is the checkered flag for him. Sam Carasala is going to cross the line as well, rounding out the top 10. A finish I'm sure he will be happy with his return to sim racing. Guillermo Martinez going to cross the line, P11. Daniel Wright getting ready to finish up his race here in P12. And there's an eye on the manufacturers there. Ooh, car 888, I believe that is Jeff Spangler disqualified after the race, which won't matter. Still finishes in P4. Spencer Brown coming around the final bend now. That is going to be a P13 finish for Spencer Brown and Niall Drake, followed by Julio Ortiz, battling it down to the very last second. Will finish in P14 and 15 respectively, and that is going to be our race, ladies and gentlemen. And we can see the Irishman there celebrating a little bit on his way down the straight. But that is going to do it for us this week at Paul Ricard. Very exciting race, to be absolutely clear. That one was wild. a lot of drama certainly to be seen throughout the race, and an interesting development here. Xu Chen and Matt Byrne are showing as having the fastest lap. That's not right. Anyways, just a quick rundown of the finishing grid there. Matt Byrne in P1, Xu Chen in P2, Alex Ardoin in P3, Javier Marquez in P4, Tommy Kogan P5, Tony Giordano in P6, Ice Tin in P7, Rick Reeder in P8, Sam Carasala in P9, and Guillermo Martinez in P10. Well, that is going to do it for us this week, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we are going to be at Kyalami, a very, very fun track and one of my personal favorites. I've done a couple of endurance races, one of them 23.5 hours long. That's a little inside joke for some of my friends. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to catch you next week, and we will be at Kyalami. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here and you'd like to see more of it, go ahead and hit that follow button. We stream every night of the week, everything from iRacing, IndyCar, to we've got just about everything. We got Codemasters F1, AC F1. If you like watching cars race, hit that follow button. There's something to watch every night of the week by very talented commentators. It's fun. I try and watch all of them because they all do such a good job. So there's your little plug to keep tuning back in, catch everybody else's races. But for me, that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time here at Apollo Racing Club.